Welcome back to another live episode of The Get Up Girl. And today's episode is a really special one. It's a big one. It is our 200th podcast episode. Woo! The crowd goes wild. I got my margarita. If you're tuning into the video live, you can see it. Or if you're listening in, just imagine that I am holding a margarita and cheersing to all of you. Today's show will consist of multiple guests popping in and out throughout the show. And my first guest today is one of my besties, and she has the cutest shirt on today. It is a rainbow shirt with a little heart in the center, and fellow Reiki master and wordsmith. Welcome, Geneva Faith. Yay!
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be a part of your 200th episode, and I'm so very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because I don't think I celebrated enough. I didn't see it until I started getting DMs, and people were like, "That's a big deal. Like, not many podcasts hit 200, Joanna." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. I am not celebrating it enough." So thank you, Geneva. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
And what's going to happen today is I want to ask everybody the same question. And what's really big in my world is I like to take stock. One of the biggest tips that has helped me throughout the years is checking in very often, not just checking in at the end of the year, looking back at the whole year, and then you're looking back at 365 days. Like, I like to check in more often. And the question I've been asking myself lately, because we're coming up to quarter one of 2022 already. If you're listening to this in real time, it's the beginning of March. And I'm like, wow, let me check in now for quarter one before I'm already in quarter two. And I'm like, what happened? It's that moment, when you hit Geneva and you're like, where did the time go? That's what I didn't want to happen. So my question to you and everybody today is, what have you learned thus far since the beginning of the year? What is your takeaway? And I know we could probably have a million of these, but anything big standing out? Yeah, she's smiling.
Well, I'm smiling because I cannot believe that we're already coming up on the end of the first quarter of 2022. Like, holy macaroni, that's just, it blows my mind.
Holy macaroni.
But yeah, like looking back on the beginning of the year, like January 1st, and I think that as a collective, we've had a pretty traumatic couple of years, and now that we're coming out of it and life is slowly coming back to normal, I think that looking back on where we were, let's say January 1st of 2022 to now, I think we all have some like changes and some ahas. One of the things that showed up in my world, and you and I actually talked about this, and it's not business related or whatever, but something that's in my periphery right now is a budding relationship, which I haven't had in a while. So it's kind of exciting, except that it's not exciting. And I'm like, wait a second. I know what it feels like to have a man be obsessed with me and in love with me, and that's not what this feels like. And just being really in my head and really insecure about it. And I watched something and it blew my mind. It was, what if you're used to living in chaos, which I am. My relationships in the past have been not healthy and even abusive. So what if I'm just used to chaos and this is actually healthy?
Yeah, I'm used to abuse.
Yes. What if this is actually healthy? It's not boring. It's healthy. Oh my goodness. So really checking in with that. And I'm like, okay, like just staying in a state of stability, I suppose, because especially in relationships, I'm not used to stable. So really checking in, okay, Geneva, is this boring? Okay, Geneva, do you really feel like he doesn't love you? Okay, and just really checking in, and that was huge for me in the past week. So when you asked that question, that was the first thing that popped up.
Wow. You know what? And thank you for sharing that and for, opening up about that. And I wonder any other gals out there listening that were used to abuse, from anyone, not even just a man, just someone. And when we're treated well, we push that person away because we don't know what it feels like to be treated healthy. I like that, healthy. It's just calm. So nothing's happening, there's no chaos. Geneva, I'm going to mirror that, and mine is with money. When I have chaos with money, I'm like, this is exciting. People have excitement with money that have chaos with money. If you have stability with money, well, then you're a nerd. You're boring. And that's healthy. So I'm going to take that, what you just said, a parallel to mine, which I have been clearing for many, many years, that I thought frivolous spending was fun and dangerous and living on the edge and cool and hip. And that's just craziness. God, that's a great, great awareness. Thank you for bringing that in. All right, Geneva, you
You're
ready for our
welcome.
next? Yeah, ready for our next or I was gonna say victim, but our next thrower in the tank. Thrower in the tank. Holly Barton. Welcome to the show. 200th episode. Holly. Oh, she's got her margarita.
I do. So that's chocolate wine. So a little different.
Chocolate wine. Okay, I've never tried it. It
It's
sounds
really
kind
good.
of gross, but it also sounds good at the same time. Okay, so if Holly, gosh, I think was on my Instagram show or podcast, something. It's been so long for so many things. But Holly and I met at an event 2 years ago. It's exactly 2 years ago. It
Yeah.
feels like yesterday, and it was at an event for Lori Harder and Lindsay Schwartz, and it was for an events seminar.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to learn about events, and 2 weeks later, events are shut down, with the
COVID.
pandemic. And we're like, are you freaking kidding me? Right? We're all ready for our event. So that's how Holly and I met. She and I were roommates, and we really got along well, learned a lot from each other. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how and Holly is seriously a female entrepreneur, leader, and badass, and just really
Mm-hmm.
what she does. So Holly, welcome, and I'm so excited to hear what's going on in your world. Are you dating? What's going on? Because I know that was the last time we talked.
We're gonna get personal. I love this. That's what I love about you. So my takeaway, it kind of has to do all about that. Is life is too short to let a less than amazing situation drag on. So sometimes we think like that situation is not bad, it's not whatever. But if something's not serving me anymore or something else, release it. Because I'm finding when I hold on to those people or those things that aren't serving me, I'm keeping things that do from coming in. And so, I mean, yeah, from relationships to things in business to anything, just making it a point to kind of let that all out and really have things. It has to be a hell yes, basically, in order to have it in my life.
Have you noticed that dating in your dating life? This is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Geneva and I have this question often, and she and I, are in our 40s. We've been really open and willing to receive the absolute best. What has
Mm-hmm.
come up for you, Holly?
Yeah. So for me, I was trying to force things. And so I was dating someone and we were friends and we were dating. And really, to me, I'm like, we are better as best friends. Like, I do want to date someone, I do want that. But to force it and make it something that it's not, when it felt like it was missing and I could have kept going, and stuff, but just to really like call it out, like, hey, we're that. And, and now we're still friends, hang out every week, the person that I go to and talk to for everything, but it feels so much better because now I'm not putting a label or trying to make it something it wasn't, and it's more natural. And so, yeah, which doesn't seem to make sense because I would love to have a relationship, but it has to be that not perfect, but perfect for me at that time.
Holly, were there moments where you could feel that you were, I guess I want to say, slipping back? Like, let me just call him, let me bring him over because I just want him to hug me or hold me, like those moments. Because I know those.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Being single, it's for sure. And then it's just going back to like, what's better for both of us. And if I do that, like emotionally, I'm not going to let myself go there. And that's really what it came down to. If I do, and I slip into that, I'm going to go back and feel regrets.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to feel good. And then it could mess up the good stuff that we do have, as friends. And then there's been people in the past that weren't I knew they weren't a match. They weren't the best, but yeah, I have to do a hard no more contact. Because some people are friends or not or nothing. And some people are relationship or nothing. But
Yeah.
yeah, it takes a discipline for sure.
Yeah, you said discipline. And the word that came to me is courage. I
Mm,
talked to Patrick, my boyfriend, a lot about this. I'm like, it takes a lot of courage to not settle just so that I could be like everybody else. And I'm like,
mhm,
man. And I'll call Geneva. I'm like, Geneva, tell me that I'm not crazy. Tell me that I can do this. Remind me that I have the courage,
mhm,
that I don't have to slip back in order to take a B plus. Because I'm like,
mhm,
well, B plus, that's pretty good. He's good. I want the best. I want the
mhm.
best of the best of the best.
Yeah, and I hired a coach. That was another thing. In December, and when I met you, I made that big investment, which was the best thing ever, and it totally shifted. And then just same thing happened this December. I hired a coach, and so she's helping me with everything. And so I called her because I'm struggling and wanting to what you just said. And I said, I feel this way. I feel bad in my body. And I'm all about listening to my body. And she was brilliant. She goes, go ahead and identify how you're feeling. You're attaching something that's not true to that. It's not that you shouldn't have broken up with them. It's you're attaching a story. And I started thinking, my story was, I'm never going to find the person. He was so great. And now I just broke that off. Now I'm, quote, never going to find the person. And so I felt bad because I told myself that wasn't true.
Yeah.
So she's had me now. I identify that's not true. I am going to find that person and release that. And then I no longer feel bad. And that has helped in so many other ways of life. Whenever I feel bad, something else comes on my plate and I think, oh, I'm never going to have time for all that. Release that. You have time. This is a blessing coming in. Now look at how you're going to have time and release the untrue statement.
The untrue statement. Because Holly and Geneva, I catch myself many times already going into conclusion, like the movie's over, like we're already done. So, for example, I'm like, I'm in my 40s. If I live till I'm 80 or 90, I'm halfway there. I still have another half lifetime. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
acting like I'm dead already. I'm acting like this is it already. Like I'm never going to find somebody. And we're going, oh my God, you have another 40 years to find someone. You're going to meet a gazillion guys, and then you're going, oh, that story. Like this is it. And I was watching, side note, if anybody out there has watched Love is Blind on Netflix, okay, it is like a train wreck that you get addicted and you cannot stop watching it. So don't start because you're going to get addicted. But I bring it up because in the show, this was especially the women. The women in the show were in their late 20s, early 30s. And they kept saying, like a mantra, Holly, like you said, the story, they kept saying, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find anybody. I'm never going to find anybody. I'm like, you're 28. You have another 60 years. Knock on wood, if you live to your 80 or 90, you have another 60 years. And we think like it's over already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that we're brainwashing ourselves that it's done. And I'm here to say, no, it's not even halftime yet. We're not even there yet. Halftime at Super Bowl is the best part, right?
I
And
know,
then we
right?
have commercials. Yeah, we have commercials in the middle. We have
Mm-hmm.
commercials. We have timeouts. We have quarters. We have touchdowns. We have fumbles. We're not even at halftime yet. Chill out. So I got to tell that to myself too.
I love that. I love that. And we have to just release too. I got married when I was 20. I got married at 20 and I was married for 10 years. And I thought in my whole thing was I want a 50-year wedding anniversary. I obsessed over it because I married at 20. I'm like, I'm going to have a 50-year wedding anniversary and thought about it and was so excited. And then I got divorced. And then I'm like, well, if I marry someone soon, I can still have that. And now I'm 42. So probably not going to have a 50, but I'm like, a 25-year wedding anniversary sounds amazing. Like I'm going to have a 25-year wedding anniversary. And maybe I shouldn't even say that and just, say whatever. But why? Who cares? You know what I mean? Like that does not define me. And so to be stuck on something and just being willing to, like I just said, let go of the things that no longer serve you, because that's not going to go down on when I die that, she was married for 50 years. That doesn't define who I am.
Aren't we so cute? These stories that we create. Like, what if you just have a 1-year anniversary party and then, hey, we'll go from there. Let's just do the one, start there and go from there. I love
What
it.
about happiness? I mean, I could be married for 50 years miserable. So why in the world would I could have stayed married, right? I would have been married 50 years. I wouldn't have been very happy, but yeah, it's funny.
Oh, interesting. Oh, well, gals, cheers. 200 episodes. Thank you so much for helping me. And
Yes,
Eva is
Joanna,
this morning.
thank you for all you do. You have been a pivotal part of my life the last 2 years and this year's. I just appreciate you always showing up. And you've taught me a lot of things I just shared right now started coming from you of being authentic and not being tied. That story. So thank you. Cheers for 200 more.
Thank you, Holly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cheers.
we were in our hotel room and I'm like, Holly, tell the story. You're holding back. Nope. Tell the story. Yeah, that was so fun.
It was.
And congratulations to you. You've been on Instagram a lot. Just coming out.
Yeah. I'm coming out. Like,
Loving
not to be perfect. I just hit post. It's not perfect anymore. Not it ever was, but it's not as rehearsed anymore. So,
love that.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll keep Holly on. And then Geneva, anything else you want to say before you sign out? Sign out?
No. Thank you, Holly. I love what you said. That was such a contribution to me. And again, Joanna, I am so very proud of you. You are so inspiring to me and to so many. And congratulations on your 200th episode. And we should definitely celebrate.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Absolutely. I love you. And I love your
team. I love you too.
So cute.
Thank you. I love you.
Okay, so we're going to say bye to Geneva. Yay, so we got Holly on. And then who's ready for Salome? You ready for Salome? All right, Salome Valdez, welcome to the Get Up Girl 200th episode.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi, hon. Oh, isn't her hair so cute, Holly? She cut it.
So cute. Your makeup, your hair, I love your vibe.
Salome, we have the same lipstick today. Yeah, kind of.
Mine is called Diva by MAC.
Diva.
Very appropriate.
Well, Salome, in case you don't know who Salome is, Salome Valdez, she helps with being my left arm and my right arm. And she helps me with all my businesses. She helps me with bringing myself back up when I'm on the floor. And she helps remind me of my greatness. And so thank you, Salome, for everything. Thank you for putting today together. And Absolutely. Let's celebrate to 200 podcasts. Yes, this is big. Mm-hmm. So Salome, same question to you. What is your big learn and takeaway since January 1st of this year?
The differences between being a season and long-lasting, lifetime. Mm-hmm. So there's a few things that I'm kind of picking and choosing what's going to be seasonal and what's going to be a lifetime. So for example, and this kind of reminded me this morning when we were working out just feels more like a lifetime to me because it's not a seasonal thing. It's not something that like, oh, I'm just doing to lose weight for something, this is just a total lifetime situation where I just feel good and want to feel good every day. And I'm thinking of doing it my whole life because it's just part of me now.
Is it just with fitness, Salome, or anything else with seasons that are coming in?
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of friendships that are seasonal that I've noticed that I've thought like before it would hurt to hold on to. And then it's like, you know what? It was just seasonal and it's okay. It's okay to just have a seasonal friendship.
When you say seasonal friendship, would the friendship come in and out or they were just a part of your life and then no longer?
Both. So there's a lot of friendships that I've had and they were very strong too for like a few months or a year. And then in my head, I would think, oh my God, it's a lifetime. We're going to do this. And then it would kind of not work out, but I mean, we're still friends, but it's just we're not as close as we used to be. Or there's friends where I've had for a long time, but I don't get to see them as often, but they've been there for a long time. I mean, for years. And I see those people really being there still for a longer time too. So just knowing the difference between that and then also knowing to let go of the seasonal ones as well.
Yeah, I really like that. It reminds me of what Holly said. where she already thought of the 50-year anniversary.
Mhm.
Same thing with your friendships. Did you already think, like, already see the future? Oh, we're going to do this together. We're going to
We're gonna travel. Yep.
yeah, we're going to grow old and be cute little old ladies together, or little old guys and girls. Yeah, exactly. And
It's
grow
mostly
old.
the male friends, I'll be honest with you, that
Oh,
don't
most
last
of the
that long.
male. Okay. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
What am I
question-
doing?
Yeah. Question for you. Do you are the females less seasonal? I wonder. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's been a mixture, but I've noticed that like I have female and male friends, but my male friends are the ones that are long lasting more. But it's recently the male friends that like just started to catch up or became friends with, they're not as long lasting as I thought they would be. It's become more of the females. I think when I was younger, the female vibe I just didn't know the female vibe as much, and those were short. But now it's totally completely changed, and now it's the females that I've been like bonding with the most.
Right. Okay. She and I were training this morning, and I talked about that as well. For what's important for me is when I get together with a tribe of women, like just us three right now, having this conversation will light me up for the rest of the day. There's something different for me when I speak with women. But before, similar to Salome, I was very opposite. I was drawn to more of the masculine energy, and I had a lot more male friends or even female friends that had the masculine energy. And then now it lights me up in a whole different way that I was able to open up and receive from women that was difficult for me in the past.
Mhm.
And it's a plug-in for me. I plug in, I have a conversation, then I leave. So that's why I was asking that Salome, if there was a difference in that. Anything else, Salome, with the seasons? I'm curious and I'm intrigued. Seasons of other things. Like I have seasons, and I was just talking to Patrick about this with my house, with my environment. And the seasons can go daily, weekly, monthly, where my house is like in order, like physically in order. And then like seasons where it's dusty and dirty and I feel like I want to scream. And then there's seasons of I love my house, and there's seasons of I just want to not be here. Anything else, Salome, for you with seasons?
Actually, yeah, sexual. There's been times where I've had like a lot of sex, and then I'm just like want to do it for like a while, you know, and then I get tired of it. And I get tired of it. Not that I get tired of it, but it's just like not like something that I make a priority. You know, before like there's times where the season like I make a priority, I put it in my schedule, I put it in my planner. You know, it's like I'm gonna make time for it, and this is a priority.
What do you put in your planner? A little heart?
What do you heart?
A heart? Okay. What emoji? Okay.
Yeah, but it's been really blank lately. You know, it's just kind of like, oh, it's not a priority. It's like, oh, either I just don't, just my body just is not feeling like it, or you know, kind of with another person. That's what I mean, with another person. So it's like, I don't feel like being with another person. I don't feel like having sex with another person right now. And it's been like the time is going by, and I'm like, oh my god, it's been this long, you know. And it's like, okay, and then yeah.
It's winter. It's thawing out.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I do go through these seasons, and it's like I'll talk to my friends. I'm like, yeah, it's been this long, and then they hear me talk about it a lot. Like, yeah, I had just had sex that last weekend, then I had sex this weekend, and I had to like, whoa, but then I'll go for a long time again.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Are you binging on sex? I binge on cleaning my house. It's real clean, and then like forget it. Are we natural bingers?
Yeah. Okay. And the reason I did bring up the whole sex is because I do want to go back to making it more normalized, just to talk about sex more, and that's why I brought that up, because I mean I know it's not just me, you know, like I'm sure other people feel that way too.
Yes. And I love that about you, Salome, that you just talk about sex like it's the weather, like it's the blue sky. And I want more of that. Yes.
Handshake for me.
Yes. We have to do this huge thing. Yeah. And I'm jumping on that bandwagon with you. Believe me, I'm not there yet, but I so love it. So thank you for bringing that energy. But on the season part, Holly, anything for you of seasons? Because I
Yeah,
love this
I
topic.
love that actually. I called it like the state of my mental health. My car, you can look at my car and you know where I'm at. And so like right now my car is clean, it's vacuumed, there's nothing left in there.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good. Like I'm really good. It was a month ago, it was January. A lot of stuff was happening and stuff, and there was just crap left in my car and it was dirty. And that's my signal of like, okay, I'm in a season where I'm not at a great place because I don't have the energy and it's not even bothering me. And then once I start getting in a better place, a better season, then I'm like, I can't live like this. And then I clean it. And so my car is my total indicator.
Holly, I'm so there with you. I had like a little mental breakdown 30 minutes before this, and I'm just like, my house is a mess. It finally is bothering me where it was like this enough.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, if I see that dust one more time, I'm going to freaking scream. But it was enough where I just stopped. I just went, I'm not looking, finally like, stop. I can't live like this anymore. It's not working, because I was asking myself the question of what have I learned since January 1? Because I was going to ask you this question. And I'm like, okay, I had a list, but one of the biggest ones is my environment is not working. And especially after the slowness of the pandemic, now I'm working at home, things are different. I have not changed my routines enough. My seasons are still the same season, like it was day one that when we closed for COVID. And I'm like, wait, things are different, Joanna. You need to change your routines.
Mm-hmm.
And so that came up for me. Yeah, but Holly, you're so right. You could look at my house and know where I am in my life.
I know environment is everything. And I think, I mean, same with you're talking about people. You can look around in your life and you're like, if I have a lot of energy sucking people, if I have a lot of people that are real low vibe and stuff around me, then we attract who we are, not what we want. So that means I'm in a low vibe place because that's who's all around me. And so that's a good interest to me too, to raise my level so I get some higher vibe people.
So true, Holly. Do you and this is so left field, but this has been another learn since January 1st. I am noticing more of my complaining. I'm going to say complaining, and it's little complaints, little things of like, this is happening, and I'm listening to myself like I'm outside of myself, going, "You're annoying." Do any of you have that? And I'm going, "Oh shoot, Joanna, no more of this complaining. You're telling these stories." Going back to what Holly said about stories, but they're so tiny, they're minuscule, but they're enough now where it's starting to go. Doesn't work for anymore. And I'm watching like an out of body experience going, I don't like the way I'm talking right now. It's very like you're just complaining about dumb stuff. Like I'm complaining about the dust. Well, then just dust it. Yeah, but I want to complain for like 5 minutes. Let me just complain. And so do you guys ever have that out of body, listening to yourself going, what is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
And that's where I have to like put gratitude front and center. Because if I don't snap out of that and put that, so I got someone for New Year's got me this gratitude journal. It's really great. So writing in that, and even I do yoga every day, and the whole time I'm doing it, I am thank you that I'm healthy enough to move. Thank you that I work. So my whole yoga practice is just gratitude. I'm like, thank you that I have a home. Thank you that I'm safe. Thank you for my health. Thank you. And just the whole time I do that is down of like, there's people that can't get up and do yoga. You know, there are people that don't live in a safe place there. And so if the long as I put that, then I feel really foolish. And I have 3 teenage daughters. So I'm very quick to, they think they have it tough and all this. And, you know, so I'm very, very quick to point out like how really good, you know, they have it. And then I go like, I tell myself that too, because I have it pretty good too.
Holly, I just wrote that down. That really stayed with me. I'm going to take that with me because when I'm training, and I wonder if Salome does the same, I'm like filling in my brain with like positive mantras, etc. But the gratitude just lit my body up and it felt so much lighter. If a yoga practice through gratitude. Oh, I love this. Thank you for this. Oh, wow. Thank you. Salome, what do you have? Every time you have the out of body experience and you're going, what are you saying? Or what are you doing?
Jeez. Yes. But I've told you this too, that I've been saying that I love my life more. when I wake up and when I go to sleep.
Uh-huh. I love my life.
I love my life.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm writing that down. I love my life yoga and gratitude yoga. I love that. Thank you, ladies. Cheers to 200 and cheers to gratitude yoga and gratitude training. I love it.
There you go.
Thank you, Holly. And then Salome, we're going to keep you on for our next guest. But Holly, I adore and appreciate you. Thank you. Keep showing up on Instagram because I am watching.
I love you. Thank you, Joanna.
Thanks, Holly.
Bye.
Thanks, Holly. Bye, baby.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Guess who we're bringing on right now? Oh. Wait,
baby.
Wait, you look like you're in my house.
I was gonna say that. I'm like, you guys are the same place.
We're under the same roof, but because of the echo and just so he could fit, he's in another room.
I was banished.
You're banished. Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
Patrick.
Thank you.
Hero.
Testosterone in the house.
Testosterone in the house with the wave. He's got his wave. I love his. Look at this. Check out his hair.
Yeah, baby. I just want to say congratulations. 200 episodes. That is phenomenal. And I'm so glad that I got to see you get through so many of these for the past 15 months. I'm so proud of you. It's such an accomplishment. And Salome, congrats to you for being by your side as well. Thank you.
Right? Yes. Thank you, hun.
So happy to be here.
On the show. Yeah. And I'm really okay. Oh, we got a comment. You know what? I'm really proud of you, hun. Oh, Erica says cheers to 200. Thanks, Erica. I do want to congratulate you and edify you, Patrick, because on our, I'm going to say our first date, literally, you said, oh, I don't do video. I don't do video at all. I'm like, really? No. And then when we started dating, I'd put you on Instagram and you were just so shy. And now you didn't even get nervous for this. So I want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you, baby. It's you've helped with a lot with that. Seeing how you do it and seeing what good comes from you constantly getting on here and posting, and it's been an inspiration for me too. So you've really helped me come out of my shell that way.
What is your takeaway from being on video? Like, doesn't it help with the boost of confidence, even if it has nothing to do with building a brand or building a business? Doesn't something come from that? And Salome, if you have the same too, I think, because you and I started these podcasts, the dance and the Get Up Girl one together. What a difference that you and I are on video, right? So Patrick, what is a big takeaway just from that before we get to the next question? Just
Well,
being on
since
video.
yeah, the perceptions that I had, I think, were the things that were making me hesitant to do it. So I don't like the way I sounded or looked or acted, and then the reception of that by others and by you. And like, I know you shouldn't be basing your things on what other people say and think, but sometimes I think being realistic, you do take away some of that. And if it's a quick fix to like, oh, I don't sound good on podcasts or whatever, and then you hear yourself or someone else says, oh wow, you sounded really good. Okay, that helps to shatter that perception. And for me, I think it was really just getting over that perception hump of all the things that I thought, having never really done it, and now seeing that it's well received, and also enjoying it. I enjoy doing it with you. So I don't think I would have done a lot of this if it wasn't for you, because the enjoyment of doing it with you has also been helpful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. And Erica says, love Patrick's gratitude for you. Thanks, Erica. Yes. It's such a gift, hun. You have been such a supporter, and that's not even the best word I can use. But when I say supporter, because you saw me at my lowest when we met, it was pretty low. And then you saw me continue to rise, and I'm not there yet, but I'd say I'm 70% there. 80, I'm like, there's so much more. So thank you that you were able to see the 200.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Salome, how about for you, your takeaway from being on video and the podcast? it's so different. Like you and I, at least what I can see from you, I think for myself as well, such a different energy and courage. And I'm gonna say, gosh, like a person, trying to think of the best word, but what we're putting out when we speak on video, to be ourselves and not perform.
Yes. Absolutely, Joanna. I, I listen to old podcasts and I'm like, oh my God, who am I? Who's that?
Who is that? Yeah, it was a character. So that, yeah, for me, it was like, yeah, just trying to, and it's not wrong. We learned through it. And like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also watched some old videos too from like lives that you and I have done, or interviews when I gave interviews too to people. And honestly, I love the progression of it. And like we said before, we're just gonna put ourselves out there and see what happens, and just do it, because we're never gonna do it if we don't do it. So we are just doing it and doing it. And you just put me there too as a host. When you had me there, you're just gonna interview this people and these people. I'm like, oh shit, I have to interview people now. So when I did it, it was, oh my God. I remember my first interview too for Dance Your Life, when it was live. And I remember I was FaceTiming you at the same time because I couldn't even figure out the thing. And I'm glad it was with my friend, with Jordan. But the thing is, I remember even with him, I was just really nervous too, because I was like, okay, how many people are going to be watching? But it started getting easier and easier and easier. And like right now, it's just so, I mean, this is literally me. This is me.
Yeah.
So,
The practice part of it really helps too. That's the other thing. It's your comfort level, just like anything. And one other thing that I realize also that's helped a lot with this too, Joanna, is that during the pandemic, how many of us then started to do so much more video stuff? And me for work, even, I was doing Zooms so often, like almost 3, 4 a day. And it's one of those things, like Salome, you just were saying, you just kind of get used to doing it. You can build your muscles, and you improve. And I'm looking at myself on a screen all day long now, and speaking all day long now. And before, you wouldn't do that. You would do phone calls or in person. But I think the pandemic, there's some things that come out of it that are a blessing. And I think that for me, the comfortableness of doing this stuff was one of those, doing it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of the 200 episodes, because this was one of the spaghetti noodles that we threw on the wall. So when I shut down the Fit Factor, the brick and mortar fitness studio, and then so many things changed, and Salome and I, you and I made the pact of like, we're going to do everything and anything, and we're going to see what works. Are you in? Let's just go for it. And then after 6 months, a year, we started to then get rid of stuff. Okay, we don't like that. Oh, we like this. Let's do more of this. Okay, less of that. But we did everything and anything. And we're still here. Like, how many people do you know that started videos, that started podcasts, that started lives, etc., and then keeled off? And there's nothing wrong. It's not a wrongness. But to really see that, it was a marathon. We're like, okay, we started this one, we stopped that one, we did this, and that we're still doing the live videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm proud that we did that. I am proud.
Me too.
200 is not easy to hit, right? Okay, next, question to Patrick. What is your biggest takeaway, sweetheart, from January 1st till now?
I was thinking about this, and I was going to say asking questions, but I think that there's another larger encompassing thing for me based on a lot of stuff that's happened lately, which is breaking the mold. So before, say, this year, there was a lot of things that business-wise or relationship-wise that I think I was kind of just doing what I always did. Mm-hmm. And the theme for me here for this year seems to really be doing the things differently, breaking that mold, changing how you're doing stuff. And asking the questions is definitely a part of that, because when you ask the questions, you're trying to get a open and different possibility. So for me, say business-wise, I'm trying to expand a lot of my businesses. And with that, you can't you can't do it if you're going to continue to do things the way you've always done. How do you expand if it's the same? That's not expansion. That's the same. So breaking that mold of our relationship, even you and I, breaking that mold with business, breaking that mold with other relationships in my life, and just doing things different. And the questions, asking questions about possibility and openness is another thing that I feel goes underneath that. And the annual we do the annual plans, and every year in January we started doing that a couple of years ago. And that annual plan really helps you think about, where are you not living fully? Where are you stuck in the same old? And you don't realize that you're stuck in the same old till you start listing out the things that you are then wanting to accomplish and to do. And then you're like, oh, well, these are all things that I haven't done, or these are things that I've kind of done a little bit. So breaking the molds by doing these annual plans, that's another great one. Is it just because it helps you keep that focus, look at it, see it. Okay, I can't just sit there and do the same old thing all the time now. It helps. So that's kind of my takeaway for this year so far. And it's starting to pan out. It's starting to pan out already. Just break that mold. 2 months, break that mold. Yeah.
Very similar to that podcast that you and I did about uncreate and destroying things, like just knocking down. And I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with that, going like this, like I'm just going to kill it, so to speak, and just end it and break it and shatter it and go boom. Because Salome, when you and I sometimes will keep it the same, but we'll go, we'll just change this and we'll just change this. And I'm aware now, like you and I just did this. We're like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to crash it. We're going to karate chop the hell out of it and start over.
I think that when you do, like you said, Joanna, when you do those little things, you're keeping your back door, right?
Your foot. Yep. You have the one foot in. It's just like what Holly was talking about with being in a relationship. Like, I'm just kind of be here, but we have one foot out the back door just in case. Right. And I am the queen of that. I'm the queen. And there's been a lot of like awarenesses of, because Salome and I were redeveloping a business, and I could tell that she was like keeping it the same. And then I was going on to her energy, keeping it the same. And we're just kind of moving it around. I'm like, wait, hold on. Salome, if you had a magic wand and we were to kill this one and start a new one, what would it look like? And then it was like, oh, okay. And it's completely going to work. Don't create from the past, because we were creating from, well, that worked already and this worked. What if everything was going to work in our heads? And what would we really, really, really like to create? Because we were creating from our past points of views. And then I'm like, I want you to pretend if you could do anything you want, Salome, what would this new business look like? That was a big takeaway. Ooh, Salome, for you, anything, have you created a new mold or uncreate and destroyed and just went, we're going to start over? Or anything that you would like to? What ahas are coming up for that?
It's been easier to do that. But I think because now I'm thinking ahead of time a little bit more with my decisions, because of the whole long lasting and the seasonal thing. So now it's just more of, I'm not doing that as much anymore because I feel like I don't have to, because I feel like a lot of the things that I'm doing, I'm already thinking ahead now. So even when you and I talk about recreating things, like it doesn't scare me as much anymore. It doesn't. Like when I'm doing the directing, the dancing and everything, I actually started crying just a couple of days ago to my other director because I just didn't like what I already kind of had, and I want to recreate it and just throw it away and just recreate a whole thing. And then she's like, oh my God, but we have to tell the dancers and recreate everything. And I was like, I'm okay with that.
Everything you know and learned, forget it. We're starting over.
Yeah.
It's the courage to also, I heard this on Chris Harder's podcast. You have the courage to let people down.
Yes.
And 99.9% of the time, they're not going to I don't think you're going to let them down. There might be one that's not going to be happy, but I really don't think in the long run, you know what I mean, Solomon?
I think as long as you come in already with a positive mind and like a determined, also being confident with your decision, they're
Yeah.
going to feel that too. And they're going to say, okay, I trust you.
Trust you. Yeah, exactly. But if you're asking for their like energetic permission and they're like, oh, should I be afraid? Uh-oh, she's not confident. So now I'm not confident.
Exactly.
I totally get what you're saying on that. Whew. Ooh, that's good. Okay. Well, anything else that we would like to add about our takeaways for this year? Because anybody who's listening, I really invite you to take stock of your life. Please don't wait till December 31st to take stock. Don't wait till your birthday. You know, when you eat your birthday and then you like reflect, don't wait till it's the summer. Like check in more often. Check in. And the great question to ask every day is, what is my favorite moment from today? And that helps you look back at each day. So before you go to sleep, before you go, I love my life, like what Salome says, you could ask, what was my favorite moment today? You could just say it, think it, and if you want to, write it down. Imagine if you journaled 365 favorite moments and not waiting to the end of the year and going, what happened this year? It's almost like a diary, yet different.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this, Joanna, too. Not only just a 200 podcast episode that I would like to congratulate you with, but also for the first retreat that you'll be having this month.
No.
You know, that's exciting.
You know what's exciting about it is that I have been pregnant with it for years. Do you know what I mean? Like that idea has been brewing for so long. It has been wanting to brew. And I did not do it because of fear of so many things, which I don't want to, it's like, why go there? But there was so much fear around it. Not fear of doing them, but fear of the time it would take, fear of the this, fear of the that. And in my annual plan this year, my number 2 target is to have fun doing that. And I'm like, I actually can run a class, do a workshop, run a retreat in my sleep. So what is there fear around? I could do it in my sleep. I could do it right now and give you the best one-day retreat. And I don't even need to plan for it. And everybody has their superpower, right, Salome? So I was like, oh my gosh, you and I were talking about our superpower. What are our superpowers? Let's double down. And you're like, you're good at leading these things. I'm like, then let's do more. But that fear was holding back. So I'm so proud that I'm like, and I still, Salome, just last night, I'm like, oh my God, it's in 3 weeks. And I'm like, what is that? Whose is that? And I think, Salome, because I love it so much, I'm really excited. I think I'm more afraid because I'm so excited. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't really care, if I wasn't excited, I don't think I'd care.
Well, that's the thing about nervousness. We forget that being nervous is actually because you do care. When you stop feeling nervous, stop worrying.
Yeah. Oh, so you're not nervous for this podcast, so you don't care. Just kidding.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, Solomon.
Yeah, there's something there.
I mean, there's still butterflies, but I'm not like the nervousness of like, oh, I'm gonna F up, kind of nervousness. That's not every time I perform, but I'm not performing right now. It's just a thing like when I go on stage or when I'm gonna go to I don't know, meet somebody or something, there's always like a butterfly because I care. When I go to work at my other job, like I'll be honest, I don't have butterflies in my stomach.
Employee of the month right there.
But I'll be telling you, when I do have our meetings, right before our meetings, I do have a little bit of butterflies. What are we going to get out of today? Because every time we have a meeting, I already know what the agenda is. But regardless of the agenda, we always talk about so much other things, and we always end up creating something. So,
such a good example that you just said that. Wow. Yeah, there's like a little bit of butterflies, a little bit of like, here we go. Yes. Dang, that is such a good awareness, Salome, because I have the same thing. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, that was good. Patrick, anything else you want to leave us with before we put a bow on this?
I want to go back to saying the thing that you were saying actually, which was the gratitudes and excited fors, and they're so important. Like I really think that those are such a great thing, and because not only do they keep you focused and reflecting upon like the things that are exciting and appreciative to you, but they're great for a relationship. It's a great thing to do together.
Mhm.
Oh, out of the blue, we do that with each other all the time. You know, just hey, what are you excited for, or what do you appreciate? And it just creates so much. There's fun things to do like that in a relationship that are, you know, a relationship strengthener. But also, it's fun. It's so much fun to be able to have those conversations that then stem from those questions, and you then do take on the next day with a greater level of those, greater level of appreciation, a greater level of gratitude, because now you're constantly looking for those things. You know you're going to talk about them, but then the awareness comes. You're like, wow, that was a good moment. So now you're not just zombieing your life. You're going, that was a good moment. That was today. That was one of my favorite moments so far, and you get excited to talk about it and share it later.
Mhm.
And one of the other things that I think that I like to do with regards to that is I recap. I send you a text every night recapping how I feel towards you and towards us and the day and what I did and don't, you know, sometimes didn't like, but you know, it's a good period at the end of the day for me. And how long have I been doing it? Every night,
Yeah.
right? For 15 months now,
Mhm.
every night. And it's not because I have to, it's because two reasons. I love doing it. I love reliving the day in my head right before I go to sleep. And
Mhm.
I know that then you will love to receive that the next day when you wake up. So
Yeah.
it's a great relationship building tool that that's fun, creates so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sweetheart. You know what? When you were speaking, I had the aha that I love for couples or individuals to see what is possible
Yeah.
in a partner, you know, to see the the gratitude and the love that you and I have for each other, and it's genuine.
Hmm.
And there are moments of course, toggles as well, and like the passion and the anger and the love, and there's so
Yeah.
much there. And so what you and I do every day is, if we talk about it in person, we'll say, what are you appreciative for? Like if we go to have breakfast, those are the conversations we have. So
Hmm.
you'll say what you appreciate, then I'll go and we go back and forth. And
Hmm.
that can take 1 hour to do 3 appreciations because
Agree.
it leads into conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh,
Yeah.
what are you excited for? And then we say what we're excited for. We could say what we're excited for in 6 months or today. It's just
Hmm.
like, what are you excited for? What are you excited for? What are you excited for? And when that thing comes up that you're excited for, the anticipation, it's so much fun because you've been talking about it for so long. You know, when a young kid, it's going to be their birthday. Let's just say, like, you know, when your niece and nephews, Salome, were little or now, and you're like, oh, your birthday's coming up. What do you want? We do that with young children. And I think we stopped doing that with adults. What are you excited for? So that's what I do with Patrick. What are you excited for? It's like, aren't you excited for your birthday? What are you going to do? What do you want? I
Hmm.
do that with my niece and nephews. And I'm like, but I don't do it with adults. What is that about? Oh, you have to be under 10 years old for me to ask you what you're excited for? I mean, if you really think about, yeah, the craziness in that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to end that. What are you excited for? So everybody listening, that's a great thing to do with your bestie, your kids, your partner, appreciations and excited fors. They're really fun. And your
Yeah.
favorite moment of the day. Yeah. And if any of this excites you, I mean, the best 1 day retreats ever created, Salome and I are going to be putting this on, and Patrick's going to
Hmm.
be there with the couples 1 day retreat and with the business 1 day retreat. He's going to be working with each business owner for 1 hour of tech. And he is the executive director of tech. He's really, really good at what he does. So he can help you with your email, your website, your
Vendors. Yeah.
hosting, your
Yeah.
vendors. I mean, there's so many things as a business owner that we need help with tech. And so we would love to have you, invite you to the best 1 day workshops that you will ever have. And I'm going to quote Salome. Salome says to me often, Joanna, it's hard to articulate what is created when we come together with these women. It's very hard to articulate. You have to be in it. And I'm like, and I've been in a gazillion workshops. I've been in a gazillion seminars, literally a gazillion. And there's something different here when we are able to create this with the women that is on a different level. And you will leave feeling so great and really shifting your life. So you can go to the getupgirl.co/classes and you can sign up there. Anything else y'all would like to add in?
Congratulations again. So great, baby. Yeah.
And we did it all together. And thank you, Salome, for pulling me back up, and for Patrick cheering me on. Like, whatever you decide, I'm here. You got this. You're amazing. I don't think I could. I know I couldn't have done it without both of you.
Well, I just love that I can work with a great power couple.
We love you.
I get along with Patrick really well, so it makes my job easy too.
Great.
Kind of going back to what Holly, I know this is going to be a two-parter because it's so long. I can do whatever I want. We'll make it 200 and 201th episode. We'll make it 2 parts. But like I said earlier, what Holly was talking about, having the courage to wait, having the courage to know what you want. I always knew that little dot in my tummy was always telling me that there is an amazing man out there for you. I always knew. I couldn't articulate it. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know where he was. I didn't know who he was. I thought many times I had found him, but he was not him. He was.
You thought it was me. No, just kidding.
I was Solomon. Solomon was looking real good at one time. Maybe I'm a lesbian. Who knows? No, I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. I like men. But the courage to follow that knowing, that courage to go, all right, Joanna, he is out there. He is out there. He is. Get back up. Get back up. He's out there. He's out there. And there are moments that, Patrick, you are so good to me that I almost feel like embarrassed. You get what I'm saying? Solomon, it's like you when you're going, my love, my life. I feel like, oh my gosh, he is just too good to me. But I'm like, you know what? I knew he was there. I waited. I had the courage to not settle for something and know that he was there. Joanna, there is no reason to feel like embarrassed, like it's too good. It's not fair to other women. They should all have that. And so anybody listening out there, receive. So it's a lot about receiving, Patrick, with you.
Yes, I was going to say that. I was just going to chime in. I don't want to extend this much longer than this already is 9-part episode. But yeah, it's so easy for me to gift to you all that I feel you deserve because you receive it so well. It's so easy. You're such an amazing woman. So I want to make sure you know and feel that. But the fact that you receive it so well makes me want to do it even more. If I was hitting a wall every time I'm trying to gift to you, well, it's like, how you're not going to keep delivering that gift. It makes it difficult. You receive it so well that I'm not even sure who's gifting and receiving at this point.
And I know Solomon, Patrick, all three of us, I've had this conversation with both of you about, I know we could change the world when women, and when women can receive more from all of it. Not just men, I'm taking from all of it, because we are taught that we got to be tough. We got to be a badass bitch. We got to be boom. And I am that. I am that. And I am a big freaking softie. I am all of it. And so Patrick has really shined light on the softer side of me. And it's learning how to receive even more, because I'm a good receiver. But how can I receive more? Like, woo, okay, here we go. More? All right. I think that can change the world and can make women even stronger. I don't know. Gosh, we're going to keep talking. I think it's
Yeah, I mean, I keep telling Joanne, I'm like, every time we have these episodes, we can continue to talk because more and more topics come up.
yeah.
It's like you need that hook. That
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Salome. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you both for everything. And here's to another 200 episodes. We'll get to 400. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for everybody watching either live on the video or on the podcast on your favorite app. Join us for the 1-day retreats the last weekend in March of 2022. Would love to freaking have you there to shift and change your life for real. Let's do some real shifts. No more little cracks. No more little moves. Big shifts. And we'll see you then. And if you want different in your life, choose different. Let's get back up. We got this. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.